Hey, everybody, let's talk about credit card debt, but not just that. Let's talk about the situation for most Americans that are carrying credit card debt. There's a recent survey out here from SoFi. Only 13% of Americans pay off their credit card in full each month. 13%. Also, we see the number of credit cards being open in the last quarter set a new record, and it's been over a year and a half now, maybe 2 years now, that credit card debt is at all-time highs. It actually dropped during the health crisis, so it's closer to a year because people actually paid down their credit cards, some people, during the health crisis. But all that's reversed now, and we are now at all-time levels of debt in all categories, including credit cards. Here's the really scary part. Recent report here, credit card interest rates just hit an all-time high. So along with the Fed funds rate being increased, credit card interest rates being increased. Now, this is bad. Think about it. All-time high debt, record high credit card interest rates. And for those that like to save money, I'm not sure why people would want to save money nowadays. It is good to have cash, especially if you think deflation is coming. And deflation is coming in certain areas, certain categories, but you're barely getting anything on your savings. Let's talk about that. JP Morgan, I've got the savings account returns up here. Chase Premier Savings Accounts, annual percentage yield 0.02%. 0.02%. Banks, they don't need your money. Banks have been given a zero reserve requirement. That means they no longer have to have reserves in order to make loans. Crazy, right? So the banks don't need your money. If we had real money, if we had money that was actually backed by something tangible, let's say gold or silver, you would not have this situation. Because why? Because banks couldn't just loan out digital money, create money out of thin air. It would actually have to be something that was physical that they had in their possession in order to loan it out. They could still loan it out digitally, but it would be backed by something. Therefore, they would have limitations on what they could lend out. That means they would have to have higher savings rates to entice people to put their money into the bank. That's the problem that we've had since 1971. It's also why we've seen inflation skyrocket since the early 70s, when the dollar was completely 100% detached from gold. And here we are now, many decades later, over 50 years later. People said it would never happen. We would never see inflation here. And here we are. Of course, they're blaming it on everything else except for the system of money, except for the fact that there's endless amounts of money that can be created out of thin air. No one's going to say that. So here we are. And only 13% of people paying off their credit card in full each month. It's going to get bad, folks. We're in a rip tide that people are caught in, of high cost of living, debt levels that were already high, rising interest rates on these credit cards that more people have to turn to now, hardly any money to be made by saving money, putting into a savings account. And that's why so many people jumped into investments over the last couple of years. And a lot of people opened their investment accounts and wanted to invest and make money because they wanted to keep up with the rising cost. A lot of those people, though, those new investors over the past couple of years, most of them lost money. We reported on that a few months ago. So not good at all. And this economy is going to burn a lot of people. Now, let's tie it in again with the housing market. If we see a housing market correction, we're starting to see it happen now. When homes do become more affordable, how many people are going to be in a buying position? How many people will even have a 3% or 3.5% down payment for an FHA loan? That's what you get. And maybe that's why we're seeing Bank of America come out with this zero down payment mortgage now. Will they have to expand that to a broader part of the population, maybe everybody, to be able to get into a home, even if home prices drop, if nobody has a down payment? Maybe that'll be the new normal. Wow. Crazy times, folks. Let's talk about this next. Americans pay $120 billion in credit card interest and fees each year. Interest, late fees, balance transfer fees, $120 billion. At least $1 trillion outstanding. Credit cards are the largest consumer lending product by number of users. Over 175 million consumers have at least one credit card. So maybe some of you can tell me where and when does this end? Is it before the end of 2022? Are we going to see the economic calamity? We have predictions out there that between September 20th and 25th, there's going to be some sort of massive collapse either in the markets or in the credit markets, either in the stock market or the credit markets. They're both one and the same, because without the debt markets, you can't have such a high inflated stock market. We'll see what happens later this month. We've only got a couple more weeks here before we see if those predictions will come true. People like Harry Dent, Robert Kiyosaki, and others have been making those predictions. And the timing is very interesting because we see this debt snowball is beginning to get to its maximum size as far as I can see. Because how long can people carry this amount of debt? Rates are rising. Nobody can save money and get any return on their savings. The cost of living is still outrageous. Rents still outrageous. Home prices coming down, but very slowly. Also, recent article out here. Currently, the average median card APR is 21.88%, according to creditcards.com data. So it's getting real. I've got a gas card. I use the Costco card because I think you get 4% cash back. It's getting tough to pay that in full each month, I got to be honest, people, because the cost of gas. We're still between $4.80 and like $5.20 a gallon. I use this gas app to try to save money. I've talked about it here on this channel before. Even with that, even with the 4% cash back, it's still a stinger in my monthly budget, I got to be honest. Still making it. Hope everyone out there is doing well and navigating these waters, because it's going to get very, very tough. If you're carrying debt, if you're not paying off that credit card in full each month, these rising rates, everything else costing more, not much relief in sight. We're going to keep an eye on it for you. The housing market, that may be some relief in sight, but prices are coming down in the housing market very slowly, and they're coming down from just insane levels. Even the video we did a few reports ago where we talked about a $200,000 price cut, that was a home here in San Diego that someone had paid like $300,000. No, they paid $600,000 just after the financial crisis. Now they're trying to sell it for $1.9 million, from $600,000 to $1.9 million. They had to drop the price from 1.9 down to about 1.7, if I remember correctly. So even the price drops are just, in many cases, dropping from just insane levels, right? So not much relief in the housing market. Rents still going up, and it's a nightmare. It's going to be a nightmare for a lot of people. So hope everyone's doing well. Keep stacking, folks. Keep preparing. At the end of this, there will be some sanity. I want to interject some positivity here. One of the areas that people have said, JJ, you got a lot of stuff right, but silver, you said silver was going to be the place. Silver is a long-term play. That's going to be after this fiat money system finally implodes, and it's going to be an inflationary implosion as far as I can see. I am hoping for deflation. My fear is that if we start to see deflation, massive deflation, they're just going to come in and cut rates and try to pump the bubble back up again. But when this all finally is done, I'm not saying it's going to be this year, next year. At the end of this, silver, real money, will be coming back. It's going to take a lot of pain and even famine. And it's not just me saying that. The UN is out there warning of famine with the food shortages, the situation with the farms, the fertilizers, the drought, everything coming to a head. Real money is going to be back. So it's going to be a lot of pain, a lot of suffering, and famine before we get there. But have that available, because we could see that implosion this month. There's predictions of what's going to happen this month. What is it? Please let me know down below. Keep stacking. Bye for now, everybody. Stay well. Peace.